Hello everyone. I am here. I am live. Welcome to clicking a placard in Final Fantasy XIV. So, I wanted to encapsulate, I wanted to put my pain and agony in video format. And so we're gonna click a placard together. Yes, we are. I'm gonna give you some tips and some tricks, and we'll see what we got going on here. I'm not worried about clicking it right now. Okay, audio sounds good. Oh wow, the plot of land is not available for purchase. That's crazy. So listen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on a placard for an undetermined amount of time, probably a couple of hours. I'll turn BGM up. That's too loud. Well, I'm listening to it through my own speakers here, so, and by that I mean headphones. So essentially, the meta, the strategy that I have, okay, is what we're gonna do is I have this heavy thing here, a sparkling water can, and it's going to hold down the targeting filters button. Is a soda can, or is a sparkling water can a piece of automation? I have no idea, but I'm not holding that key in for like 80 years. We don't need to hold it in yet, because there's nobody standing in front of me. But here we go. This is it. This is the stream. This is exactly what we're doing, and you're gonna hear the thud of a freaking sparkling water can, yes. You're gonna hear these same clicking noises like I have over and over and over again. Because I needed some way to kill my boredom while I do this. I'm not gonna do this for very long. I'm gonna do it for like 2 hours, okay? Right, like, that's basically it. I just wanted to, yeah, I literally just, oh, ho, ho, ho. Hold on one moment. Okay, I don't think that's anything too bad. It just says, I am us. I would prefer if the chat stayed in English because it's easier for me to moderate that way. Hello? Hello. But yes, so literally the entire stream is just going to be clicking the placard. You've seen this for 5 seconds, you've seen the whole thing. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I needed something to just kind of like kill the boredom here, because this is literally just, I have done this. How do I put it? Whoops. Hot placard clicking action. Listen, I'm just saying, you see an ad on a shady website that says, these placards won't click themselves. I'm just saying. So, listen. I have clicked this damn thing for... God, I don't know. I've clicked this thing for in one sitting with, you know, like, human breaks. I've clicked a placard for 10 hours. I've clicked this thing for 10 hours in a row. You know, with like food, drink breaks, all that sort of thing. And I didn't get the plot. And I was just like, oh good, I get to go to bed now. So again, we're probably gonna do this for like 3 hours, you know. It is what it is. Hot placards in your area need a good clicking. You're damn right. And here's the thing, I have a really funny story here. So, when we were originally trying to... no, I do not know what you're referring to. So, what ended up happening was we did a guild drive so that I could basically raise money to maybe get like a medium house if it shows up. Because like the more houses you can click on, the higher the chance, right? So right now we're in the small house frame. And so essentially I got 2 donations, one from Joey of 2 million gil, and then 1 million gil from one of our members. And he said, we were talking about housing, and he said that the only housing district he wasn't really enthusiastic about was Olda, right? Like, he specifically said that this housing district was his least favorite, and he hopes that we don't get a house here. And he was even saying that, like, he's not a big fan of Shirogane, he doesn't like the aesthetic, but he'd be okay with a Shirogane house. Now, of course, I'm buying this with my own money, and I just want to get a house. It's possible to relocate later, of course. No. And so, you know, what I'm trying to do, and this is the real strat, by the way, is you left-click, right-click, and then left-click. Because if you just left-click like that, there's a delay. But if you left-click, right-click, it skips through that one. It's really cracked. But my arm already hurts, so... Oh, no, no, no. Let's keep clicking for 1,000 years. Hell yeah, brother and or sister. We're gonna be here for a while. Because, like, here's the thing. I've talked about it, like, it's the only thing I'm talking about in World of Horror anymore, okay? Like, it's literally the only thing that I'm talking about. Is... I am just, like, I'm just so exhausted trying to get a house in this game. And statistically speaking... this is not peak clicking hours. Like, peak clicking hours are gonna be, like, 4 or 5 hours from now, which is when I'll be asleep. So, like, you know, copium, pain, suffering, misery, even. But, like, it's just so... I hate how there are literally just features that are locked behind houses. Like, oh, that's a... what's that? You want to stable your chocobo? Nah, you need an estate for that, brother. You want to have a garden? You need a house for that. You want to build an airship or submarine with your guild? You need a house for that. And so it's like, you know, you're just sitting here and you're in absolute pain and agony, and you're like, oh god. And so, like, this is not going to be optimal clicking, alright? We're in this for the long game, and by the long game, I mean 2 hours. Probably about 2-3 hours. Most realistically, 2 hours, because I don't want to do this for very long. And, like, here's the thing. A lot of the, like, I'm not going to accuse anybody here of doing it, because I've seen them quite often. Like, this is not the first time I've seen Britannia Dawnbreaker. Although, some of the other ones, I don't really recall seeing. You know, like, the people here who are in Ul'dah, they're just desperate for a house. Like, Ul'dah is, for some reason, just, like, the bad housing district. And I think it looks fine. Of course, we're not going to, I'm not going to show you around the place, because that would require not clicking on the placard. So, we're just going to sit here for a long time. And we're just gonna vibe, we're just gonna hang out. And I'm trying to think of conversational topics. Because normally, like the last few times I've been doing this is just like watching a Netflix thing or an FC member. They told me about this show about roommates. The process of getting a house seems way more nightmarish than anything in World of Horror. I mean, in World of Horror, anything that's scary is over, like, when you click the next screen. In this, you're literally sitting here, like, okay, you see that timer that says next evaluation 7:46? That doesn't have anything to do when this is gonna go on sale, right? When somebody demolishes a house, there's a 24-hour period of time that is hidden. And in that 24-hour period, that's when this purchase land button is actually going to work. And so people either set up bots so that they can click 24/7, or they are like maniacs like me, who they just stand here clicking the damn placard the whole time. Because, like, literally, at any second, statistically it's not likely, because there is, like, a sweet 4-hour spot that we're, like, going to barely miss, like, when I end the stream. But, like, there's, like, a 4-hour period of time where it's statistically most likely to go on sale. But, literally in any second, like, any of these clicks that we do here could be the last, right? And I have had, like, multiple endurance nights where it's like, I don't got anything to do tomorrow, so, you know what? You know what? Let's just click the placard for, like, 8-10 hours. And it's so bad. It's so bad. Because, like, I have literally, and I have footage of this, because I recorded it on OBS, because I have 16 terabyte Toshiba hard drives for some reason. And by that I mean I have two 8 terabyte hard drives. They were on sale. I got them on clearance sale at like $150 each for 16 terabytes in total. But I have too much storage space on my computer, so I was like, oh, screw it. You know, I'll record it. And so I recorded. I have a 10-hour video file in 4K, of course, of me clicking a placard. I think it was in Gridania. Yeah, it was. It was in the lavender beds, for sure. Oh, they do be, talking in Say Chat, though. The ultimate form of, despair. You think you're gonna find, you're gonna find camaraderie here? With all these, like, battle-hardened animals clicking the damn placard? But to an extent, I literally have just given up. Because clicking on a thing that I can buy for like 2 hours... Like, imagine doing this for 2 hours, right? Even that on its own sounds hellish enough. But yet, here we are. And here we're gonna do it. I don't know how long I'm gonna do it. Probably for about 2 to 3 hours. And that gives us, like, I don't know, like a 0.1% chance of getting this house. But you gotta roll the dice. At every available, the worst part is when you move the mouse. Like, I almost wish there was a way to lock the mouse so that you couldn't, like, move the mouse cursor at all. Because I have it set up. You can see here, I have the different windows scaled to different sizes, so all the button purchases, line up. So all I have to do is, like... If I want to, I can left-click 3 times, or I can right-click once here to make that second click faster. No wonder why I always miss your streams, Lamau. Hi, Web. Hello, Twilight Blade. We don't normally stream at this hour. This is a very unusual stream hour for me. It's true. It's just that, like, here's the thing. I was thinking about going to bed or doing PvP or something like that. You know, something that's fun. I enjoy going to bed. I'm an average sleep enjoyer. You can probably tell by my outfit here. Average sleep enjoyer. And, oh, that's private. I do not want to I do not want a private house in Ul'dah, okay? Absolutely not. I want a private house in Ishgard, which is gonna... Ishgard's a lottery system, okay? Ishgard's a lottery system. You pay the money, you draw a lot, you see if you get the house. That's a dream compared to this, but the Ishgard housing's not out yet. Ishgard housing's not gonna be out for a while. Like a month or two. So, yeah, no, this is not a normal stream. This is not a normal stream schedule or anything like that. I was just thinking to myself... I'm gonna click this damn placard, because I don't have anything better to do. I don't have it, like, I literally, like, I don't have anything better to do. I mean, I've got stuff to do tomorrow, obviously, but that's why I'm not gonna click the placard for 8 hours. The worst part is, I have no idea when the house is gonna go on sale, right? Like, that devaluation thing that says 7 hours... That's just when the house is going to drop in price. And that devaluation timer is completely independent of anything. So the hidden 24-hour timer could be any second now. Isn't that just exciting? Oh boy. Ugh, I made this logon when I was legit 14 and forgot how cringe it is until you read it. It's fine. You know, there's a meme that I really like, that it's like the little Pepe the Frog kid, and he's standing over the valley, and he's like, don't kill the part of you that's cringe, kill the part that cringes. You know, something like that. I think it's a sweet meme. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's okay to be a little cringe as a treat, right? We all are. If you weren't cringe, then you wouldn't be human. But no, like, your name's fine. Your name's completely fine. Maybe it's just how I read it. I read names in a very strange way. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I had literally the greatest name on, whatchamacallit. Well, technically it's my name on Steam, too, and you probably see it when you watch the episodes, because it says it on the main menu, but my name on Steam is Role-Playing Gamer, but the roll is spelled, like something would be rolling down a hill. Oh, they've lost it. They want to change in scenery. The fool. But, repositioning to get a better view for housing is, like, probably one of the, like, you know you're too far gone. Like, this is your life. If you're like, oh, I don't really like where I'm standing, I need to stand in a better spot while I click the placard, because that will increase my chances. I mean, you know, she could be onto something, honestly, though. If she gets the house... Like, I'll give you an update in the comments. Like, because the chances that we see this house sell in this video is non-existent. Literally doesn't exist. But, if she gets the house, I'll let you know out of which one of these people gets the house. If one of them does. Because most likely what's gonna happen is in the peak clicking hours, a horde, that's private individual, don't want that. Like, a horde of, like, 20 people are gonna come in, probably, like, 5 people from different guilds, and they're gonna start clicking in the peak hours. And then, like, we, the humble, solo placard clickers, are going to get absolutely annihilated. And, I mean, I'm gonna, like, probably, in, like, 2 hours or so go to bed, but that's besides the point. You know, like, you develop a lot of characters here. Especially when people start talking in Say Chat, but that's just, like... people giving entertainment to others. There's also, the bards and the holy spammers. Oh god, I've been through a freaking war zone here. Could have gone for Twilight Blade 420, but otherwise fine. True, 420 is a better number than 7. But, like, that's the aesthetic thing, though. Is, like, you have the name that you like, and then you enter it in, and it's like, this name's taken, you can't use it, so you just put a number at the end of it. Like, that's the classic, like, RuneScape thing, or, like, I mean, even, like, for MMOs just in general. I remember that in Warframe, the name that I wanted was taken, and so I just took, like, 2 random objects and put them together to make the name. And then it's just so weird. It's the only time I've ever used that name, too. I've never reused the name that I used in Warframe. And it's like not the account name, but like the actual like display name. I've never reused it. But let's see. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff actually, for the channel specifically. Like, I want to do more... Like, I've been thinking specifically about the perk. You could probably tell by what videos we're doing recently, but I've been thinking about doing another perk live stream, and character live stream as well. Because I do want to get an updated perk tier list out there. Like, that wasn't a thing back then. I'm an internet geezer at this point, 32, so the name is pre-Google ownership. Whoa! That is crazy. Like, I remember... Well, I don't really remember, because I was younger back then. But I do remember just this sort of, like, gradual invasion of Google into your life, right? Like, Google used to not be the default, and now it just kind of is, and that's kind of whack, yo. That's kind of whack. You know what would be sick if I got this house in the next 5 clicks? That would be great. And by 5 clicks, I mean purchase attempts. Also, I have the chat covered, just in case, like, an FC member says something, or somebody in Say Chat says something. But I want you to know that this plot of land is not yet ready for purchase that you see on your screen right here. That goes into chat. Like, here, this will be, the house will sell while I'm doing this, but look at this for a moment, okay? Look at this for a moment. It's all that. It's all that. And I don't actually have the scroll from the full 10 hours, because it does save the chat, but I just, I was done clicking after like 10 hours. Whoops, that was a misclick there. That could have gone horribly wrong. The one time I get the house is the time that the, whatchamacallit. The one time I get the house is when I click private individual. That would be tragic. Yeah, honestly, it's crazy how prolific Google is compared to its previous competitors. Yeah, no, it's insane, because, like, what do you have? Like, you've got Google, and you've got, like, Bing. And then, if you're a weirdo like me, you have, like, DuckDuckGo, right? And that's about it. It's like 90% of people use Google. Like, that's wild. Like, I don't even know how, like, you function on the internet without using Google products, right? Because, I mean, I don't use Google Chrome, but I use Google Documents. I use Google Drive. I obviously use YouTube. YouTube is one of my favorite websites on the internet. In fact, YouTube probably is my favorite website on the internet. It's just that, like, there's no competition to Google that's meaningful in any way. Another tier list would be useful. Yeah, like, I think the interesting thing about the next tier list would literally just be that I've changed. And the game hasn't really changed. Like, the game got harder, but it also got easier with things like bricks and stuff, right? And characters like Ayaka and Toshiaki are just, like, objectively stronger than other characters, in a meta sense, because obviously, like, Toshiaki has, like, 3 strength, but we play on Harbinger of Doom, so it's 2, for my purposes. But, you know, like, Toshiaki has dog water stats, but the Necronomicon is broken, right? And so, you know, I think that the game got harder, but I also think the game got, with its new content, the new content made the game easier. And old content got harder, I think, if that makes sense. And that doesn't fully hold up, because, like, challenges are really difficult, and things like, Insomnia exist, which Insomnia is just a goddamn nightmare. The closest competitor to YouTube is, like, Vimeo, and that site is made to fail. You have to pay them to host your videos? I mean, that makes sense, though, right? Because, like, the amount of videos that I've uploaded to YouTube, to be able to put them online would probably cost, like, tens of thousands of dollars, right? Like, the amount of, like, the amount of content that I've uploaded isn't even that much in the grand scheme of things. But there's, like, 500 hours of, like, content uploaded every 2 minutes on YouTube. The fact that they can host that in and of itself is insane, right? Like, the fact that I can upload, basically within reason, any video at any time, and they'll host it for free, and they'll only force put ads on it if I do something that makes it to where it would be copyrighted. It's just, like, it's absurd. Like, the reason, like, the only reason YouTube exists is because Google can afford to take the L on it. In the abstract, it totally makes sense, not when your competition offers it for free, though. Yeah, but that, like, the wild thing is, or at least how I believe, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to, you know, new information. But, like, YouTube wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for Google taking the L on, like, taking the money, basically. Or providing the money, I should say. You'll have to excuse me, it's almost 4 in the morning. Like, the reason why Google is so... or the reason why YouTube is so powerful as a platform is just because it has Google behind it. Like, if YouTube did... like, if Vimeo had Google's backing, then Vimeo would be better than YouTube, right? If Google suddenly ditched YouTube, right? A new challenger. Oh, I remember this guy. I saw him the other night. That actually kind of sucks that he didn't get the house, because I've seen this guy a couple times. I remember him because he always wears that robe. And that's like one of the earlier game robes, I think? I don't want to say that's the brand new robe for the drip. But I don't see a lot of people wearing that robe, so how long this one's been up for? Oh, he's asking. Is anybody gonna give him an answer? Do people give him answers? Do people give helpful answers in something where they're willing to troll you to make you lose? I'm not entirely sure. Because, like, the last placard that I clicked on, it was in Shirogane, and you had... ooh... I need to actually move this up a little bit. There we go. Oh, no, this house dropped 3.5 hours ago? Okay, yeah, no, we're never seeing it drop here. Because the prime time is like the 14th hour. So in like 10 hours, this is gonna be good to go. So I'll probably log out right here and then come back in the morning, and it will still be here. If that information of 3.5 hours is accurate. Interesting. And like the last placard that I clicked on in Shirogane, there were 2 white mages and an astrologian. The 2 white mages were spamming Holy, and the astrologian was spamming Earthly Star whenever it's up. And Earthly Star is like this ball of light that gradually gets brighter and bigger until it explodes. And the weirdest thing is that even if you turn other people's effects off, you still end up seeing Liturgies of the Bell, Temperances, and Earthly Star. 14th hour, is that a coincidence? I'm not entirely sure. I just remember that the Pint video of I enslaved my Final Fantasy XIV guild, all of the houses that people are dropping now, obviously, because they believe the 3.5 hour thing, which, you know, is totally fair. But, basically, like, the Pint video was, like, what we found by clicking at the placards a bunch is there's a sweet spot of, like, 4 hours that kind of starts near the middle. And so it would be around maybe hour 12. It would be, like, maybe the 12th hour to the 16th hour, now that I think about it, because it's a 24-hour window. So, you know, you come back here, like, if you're here and not a maniac who's gonna click this in the middle of the night, you go to bed, you come back in 10 hours, and then that's prime time. You click for 4 hours, hoping that you get it. Oh. The minion is in the way. Okay. Is it time to put the, I have, there's a more elegant solution to this, for sure. But I have a can of sparkling water. Because, so here's the thing. Since people are moving around, and I'm starting to click on their minions instead of them, you have a button called, oh my god, it's Renegade Thundersoak, oh my god. I remember him from the other day. But, yeah, no, you have this button called Target Filters that prevents you from clicking on players. However, there is, to my knowledge, no way to toggle this button. So that means that the only way, because he's standing in front of the placard right now, I literally cannot click at the placard unless I hold this button. And I really do not want to hold a button on my keyboard and a mouse. You know, I would like to have my, you know, one of my hands free so that I can do things like, you know, change my music, scroll chat, or something like that, or, like, more importantly, drink my water. And so what I did was I got a sparkling water can, and I'm gonna put it on the button. It's a button that I never use on the keyboard, so if it gets damaged by the can of sparkling water, who cares? I literally have never pressed this button before now. So, and you know, I'm remembering, because I've been trying to figure out how to make this as easy as possible without violating the terms of service of the game, because the terms of service of the game are very strict. And so one of the things that I was worried about is any sort of automation, macro, or auto-clicker is completely banned and will get you banned from the game. I don't think it actually will. Like, I haven't heard of anybody being banned from it, but I've almost put, like, I've put over 1,000 hours into this character. I'm not going to even risk it. And so there's a meme where it's like, is a calculator a third-party program or whatever? Is Discord a third-party program, etc., etc.? And so now I'm sitting here with a freaking can of sparkling water on my desk, pressing a key in, and I'm like, is a can of sparkling water a part of the automated process? But, yeah, no, we're just kind of hanging out here. Interesting, the whole system seems brutal and accurate to IRL housing these days. I mean, this system's been around for, like, since they introduced housing. Like, probably for more than, like, 6 or 7 years. I don't know when they introduced housing in A Realm Reborn. I don't know if it was, like, immediate or not. But, originally, when housing first came out in the game, what happened was they didn't have this hidden timer. They did have devaluation, to my knowledge, because people didn't have the gil to buy the houses. And so what they did was they came up with the devaluation system where essentially if the house wasn't bought in a certain period of time, it would lower in price, and then it would lower in price again and again and again and again. And so, oh, I'm just looking at the Say Chat drama right now, because of course there's Say Chat drama, which is why I'm hiding it with Emmerdale. But, like, I'm actually, this is a continuing storyline. Like, I remember when this person was asked to do this thing when we were clicking the placard last, and now they're complaining about it that we're clicking on the placard again. That's incredible. But, yeah, no, so what used to happen is if you had the money and the house was for sale, you could buy it, which worked really well when people didn't have the gil for it. But when people got the gil for it, and you could buy a house instantly the moment it was demolished, a few players basically bought every house in the game. And so they implemented a system where if you demolish your house, it goes on a random 24-hour timer period that nobody knows, and it's completely random, but it's most likely to happen in this, like, 4-hour period. So just 4 hours of this, you know. And here's the thing. This is the relaxing, optimal way to do it, where I just have to click, I have to right-click once, left-click, right-click, and then left-click, okay? So left-click, right-click, left-click. This is the easy thing, okay? This is after, like, searching on forums to figure out how to do this efficiently, right? So, absolutely cracked the fact that this is a thing that exists. Are there gameplay benefits to owning a Final Fantasy XIV house? Oh, wait, hold on. You need one of those drinking bird toys to press the key for you? No, hold on. That toy is automated. That toy bobs up and down without user approval, or, you know, that might be... Listen, I think a sparkling water can, if you wanted to get into the philosophical debate about idle versus automation, the sparkling water can is just sitting here. The bird is an automated system, okay? And so I think that might get you in trouble. Are there gameplay benefits to owning a house? Yes, That's the part that sucks, okay? So houses are limited because the system is too complex for them to... So here's the thing, you can buy an apartment, and an apartment is a room that you can customize. There are an unlimited amount of apartments, and I could go buy one right now. But the thing is, that doesn't have any gameplay benefits. It's purely for player expression. However, houses have chocobo stables, which I actually thought that they weren't chocobo stable exclusive, but I went to the chocobo guy, and it was like, you have to be a part of an estate to do this side quest. And I was like, oh. Okay. But so, like, you need a house to do the chocobo side quest. You need a house to garden, although this is allegedly changing once we get the island resort. You'll be able to do gardening on the island resort instead of at a housing plot, which is good because this is a small house, so you can only have one gardening plot, which is very bad. Medium houses have 2 gardening plots, large houses have 3. So there is a disadvantage of getting a small house. However, that's the only disadvantage of house sizes, alright? It's just your gardening plot number. Now, this next part is exclusive to FCs, right? So, I'm a free company leader. Sirens of Leviathan, Crystal Coral. Co-leader is Joey. You know, we have fun here. Because I have an FC, literally speaking, there are legitimate disadvantages to joining my free company over a free company with a house. Because if you have a house, you can have workshops, you can have an airship, and you can have a submarine. And those, the workshops are basically just like, I think it's like crafting stations or something, I'm not entirely sure. I never used them when I was in a free company. And so, but the more important part is the airships and the the airships and the submarines. They are free company activities that you can do together, where everybody in the free company, or at least the crafters in the free company, you need at least 4, I believe, where you basically come together and you build like a custom airship and submarine for your guild. And you can send those things out on exploration missions to get rare loot that can only be acquired through the airships. FF, I don't know what that is, and if I Google it, Twilight Blade, if I Google that, then I can't click on the placard. But I do understand there's some, crying emoji there, so you do feel pity for me at least. And that pity is appreciated. This is what your boy Webweaver has been, devolved into. This is what I've done. Like, I've unironically done this for... I have unironically clicked this placard. Not this one specifically, because obviously the houses are different. I've clicked in Lavender Beds, I've clicked in Limsa, whatever that's called. And, I've clicked in, what's it called? It's not Kugane, it's Shirogane. That's it. So, basically, I've clicked in every housing district. And I have, in total, I have probably clicked the placards for about 38 hours. So that's 38 hours I could have been playing the game, which I'll never get back. But I only have to do this once. Because as long as one person in the free company goes to the free company house once, every 45 days, the house won't get auto-demolished, because that's how it works. If you leave your house vacant for 45 days, it gets automatically demolished, which is probably not what happened here, because they turned auto-demolish off. Final Fantasy, not in my backyard. Basically, limited housing enforced by existing owners. Oh, yeah, no, there's a guild on here, and they own, in the Lavender Beds, probably like 9 houses, right? And so you don't need multiple houses. Well, okay, like for gardening, sure, but that's a stretch, right? Like that really is a stretch. They, like, I don't even think they're one of the bigger guilds, right? Like, I've seen... Like, the 3 guilds that I see a lot in Coral would probably be, like, Fae, Danger Bongos, and what's the other one? Mog? No. Mog Home? Is that what it is? No, there's 3 of them. And I see them pretty frequently. You know, they've got hundreds of players. I could understand them wanting multiple houses for, you know, multiple gardening plots, because they're limited. Like, even if you have a large house, you can only have 3 gardening plots. And so with, like, you know, like 200, 300 people who are playing, you might want to have multiple gardening plots. Because of the scale. But, you know, if you're a smaller guild, you do not need 9 houses in the same ward, in the same housing district, just so that you can, like, have your whole guild living next to each other. Like, that's cool, don't get me wrong. Like, that's a cool power fantasy to have, but it is excluding things from other players. So, like, your, house... 1 house per person until you get a house, and then your neighbor demolishes, and then you're like, yo, boys... We gotta get that house, we gotta make a neighborhood. Listen, it's a sad... The act of doing this is a sad day, yes. It's true. But at least, like, actually just chatting is fun. Because how I have it set up, where I just have all the windows aligned with the different scaling, I just have to right-click, and then we're good to go. Also, this really is, like... I would expect this say chat from, like, Limsa. I wouldn't expect this from the... whatever the hell the old housing is. I still think it's really funny. My guild member who donated to the housing fund was like, yeah, really, like, I can get behind any house as long as it's not an old like, the old housing district is just like... Oh, that was private individual. That scared me a little bit. I need to make sure that I'm not accidentally, clicking on private individual when I'm glancing somewhere else. But I think, like... I've been thinking about doing, like, a lot of different content for the channel, but this is a pivot, of course, because it just, like, randomly popped into my head, and, like, listen, this is, like, the Sleepy World of Horror episodes where I'm, like, unhinged and just saying random crap, but, like, I've had a lot of ideas for the channel, but when I'm just doing it as, like, sort of a hobby and wanting to just kind of put, like, a small amount of time into it, it's a weird balancing act, because I don't really want to... how do I put it? I don't really want to... Web is unhinged and trying to muscle into real estate. You do indeed hate to see it. For he is cute. I mean, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. But yeah, I've been thinking about stuff to do for the channel, obviously. And it's like, I don't want to put, like, a huge amount of time into it, because it is just a hobby for fun. And so, I've been thinking about it, and it's like, the priority is always the daily WoW, right? Like, that's it. However, there are other videos that I want to work on, right? So the priority, you know, obviously the daily World of Horror. But there are more elaborate videos that I want to work on, and so it comes into a point where I actually have to think about doing it from a, whatchamacallit, I have to start putting more effort into it, which there's nothing wrong with that. How am I today? I'm clicking on a placard. Pretty terrible. If it was a good day, I wouldn't be doing this. But, you know, it is what it is. The World of Horror content is very appreciated for what it's worth. Like, I do enjoy hearing that. Like, I'll be honest. There is a delay here, so I have no idea what it is you're hearing when I see Lamau oof. Waste of time. It is a waste of time, but I'm trying to make something of it. That's why we're here today. That's why we're here streaming. Yeah, I love World of Horror. Also looking forward to seeing more Lily's Well. I swear to God that's not copium. I swear to God. I swear to God it's not copium. You could be grinding. I grinded earlier though. Like I did 3 hours of I did 3 hours of Phoenix. I did Frontlines a couple of times, leveled up. Like I haven't been grinding a lot, but I also did some Eureka grinding the other day, got 100,000 gil from some obscure logograms. But sometimes you just need to, you know, it is what it is, or a much better way of saying that sentence, it's what it's, which is technically grammatically correct. But yeah, like I do enjoy hearing, you know, that the World of Horror content is appreciated because, well, I mean, I do get a lot of support from it, and it just makes me feel good. That's the end of the statement. It's not why I do it. Although I will admit there have been some times in the past where I was like, I don't know if I want to record, and then it's like a good comment popped up, and I'm like, all right, we'll record. And, you know, it does definitely, I do put extra effort into it, like when I'm feeling motivated, for sure. But it's a hobby thing, right? Like and it's something that I do for fun in my spare time. And it is interesting trying to always make it work. Because there have been some pretty close calls with the daily World of Horror. Like a while back we had to do that stream at like 11, just to make sure that Kiwi didn't win. You don't see many other YouTubers focus on World of Horror? Well, I mean, listen, this is gonna sound harsh, but it's what it's. World of Horror is not getting updated as quickly as a lot of other games that are in the spotlight. Like, when a game is in the spotlight for a long time, people quickly lose focus if there's not an update for it, and there's not new content, right? And another thing is, like, I think I've talked about this before, but World of Horror is a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche. There are so many barriers to entry for being interested in World of Horror, right? So that even though, like, gaming outlets tried to make World of Horror happen, they tried. There were so many articles from pretty much every place you could imagine that was talking about, like, this game is great, this game is cool, there's this Junji Ito-inspired MS Paint horror game, and all that stuff, they tried. And the thing is, one, I think, you know, at least for me, I don't listen to mainstream gaming news very often. So a bunch of, like, news articles being published about World of Horror doesn't do anything for me. I found out about the game because one of Panstash's tweets went viral on Twitter a while back, which is how I originally heard about it. And then I started not following him on Twitter, because I didn't follow him on Twitter, because I didn't really have, like, a Twitter account back then, except for, like, the giveaway Twitter account that's private, and so I wasn't really, like, following anybody outside of that, but I would, like, I wrote his name down in, like, a notepad, and I would occasionally check in on his Twitter account to see the new screenshots, and they were cool, right? And so I was paying attention to that game. I was watching it like a hawk. Then it went dark, right, for like a year. And then, out of the blue, there was a tweet with the game's release date. And then I was like, oh, that's cool, I'll pick it up when I can. And then, when the game came out, I saw Northern Lion. Was it a Northern Lion stream? Like, did he play that? I saw a video of it. And so, I just kind of decided to buy it. Like, I don't know if I bought it on... Did I buy it on launch? Because I'm pretty sure the first episode might have been launch day. I'm not entirely sure, though. You don't, everyone has ups and downs, but your downs are still, but even your downs are still to watch, so thanks. I do appreciate that as well. Like, I'm glad the fandom isn't mainstream, that would get messy fast. You know, like, the thing is, I've heard that, I mean, I haven't engaged with the World of Horror fan base, as weird as that sounds. Like, the only people that I've talked to who are on, like, the main server are people who are in my server, and then, you know, people who are in my World of Horror server, and then, like, a couple of people in the WoW Discord server, right? There's only a couple of people there that I've talked to, and, you know, I've had pleasant experiences with them all, but I don't actually know what the community's like. You know, I have my own little sub-community, and that's what it is, you know? That's how it works. And so... Well, it's not how it works, that's just that's how it is, right? And so I stay in my little hangout, and that's it, really. I don't have anything against the World of Horror community. Like I said, I haven't had a bad experience. But there is, like, that lens of me being not necessarily the guy, because there are tons of people, like, I think probably, is it Vinny from, is it Vine Sauce? Like, I watch, like, the weird fan games, but I haven't really watched a lot of those videos. Like, I think that Vine Sauce is probably the closest that World of Horror has to the guy. But there's also, like, Death Runs, who's probably, like, the premier World of Horror streamer as well. And then it's just me doing the daily runs, right? So there's not really a lot there as far as content creators go. Although Jesse Cox did do some videos a while back. They were good. I enjoyed watching those. I'm trying to think of other World of Horror content creators. Because, like, Joey did some stuff a while back with that. But Joey doesn't do World of Horror much anymore. Joey didn't even check out the bricks! Like, what the heck? Joey still doesn't understand how powerful bricks are. And, like, we're constantly joking about it. And those who know, those who don't, I guess. And then you'd look at something like a, how do I put it? I'm running through the list. Okay, I'm running through the list of World of Horror content creators. That's what I'm thinking of right now. I'm gonna do a little, search while I just, like, because here's the thing. The sparkling water can. Right there. Holding the button down so I have my left hand free. I can go to YouTube on my phone. And then, yeah, our clicks per minute are dropping here. That's true. But let's search up World of Horror. Pretty messed up that when I type in W instead of World of Horror recent search, it's Warrior of Light recent search. That's pretty cringe. But let's see. The first thing that comes up is the Yizbird Games video from 2 hours. Oh, the Beansley character guide! Oh my god! I remember watching that when I remember watching that when it came out, dude! The Beansley character guide, that was crazy! And then the probably Jacob horror game review for World of Horror, that was a banger too. For sure, for sure. And then the Vinny World of Horror, the Jesse Cox World of Horror. Oh yeah, Funky did a... Funky... I'm rediscovering all these good videos. The Funky study on World of Horror, that's a banger. If you haven't watched that, highly recommend it. Oh, the Obsidian Wasp Burn It All Down video. And it's not showing up on my YouTube search, but I did just remember it. There's also, like, a Russian sub-community for World of Horror, and there's some really good Russian videos on the game as well. Now, I'm gonna go back to chat now, because I can't really, One of the things that popped up when I searched World of Horror is what they discovered in Chernobyl shocked the whole world, and it's a picture of, like, some eldritch monster. But, oh, that's private individual. No, no, no. Move that down a little bit. Can I move this up a little bit? Is that gonna stay up here? No, it's not. It's gonna come right down. That kind of sucks. Yeah, let's get back to chat. I can't read chat right. Well, I can read chat, but it's... We've been over it before. It's like split in half because of how I have the windows overlaying. You know, I just like refreshed the World of Horror page, and it's like my video was there, and I was like, oh, I'll just refresh the page again to see the live stream. But I'm not streaming World of Horror. That's not gonna show up if I refresh the page. There we go. We're streaming Placard Gaming. Vinny and Vidyabum have covered the game a decent amount, yeah, though Def less frequently, and everyone is less frequent than you. You know, it's weird. I was talking about it. Oh, that's private individual. That scares me a little bit. Let's change the scaling on this. This is a little bit, there we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. Actually, don't think... I have most likely heard of Vidyabum, because... Like, I've talked about, I've talked with people about World of Horror content creators before. Specifically, Kiwi would bring somebody up who, before me, had the longest World of Horror series, and then I have long since overpassed them. But, I was talking about it with Joey, and this was months ago, but I remember the conversation, where Joey was talking about how it's kind of weird doing World of Horror content, because like, he's not gonna... Well, nobody's gonna make more World of Horror videos than me. At this point, the amount of effort that you have to put in would not be worth it, right? And so, I have kind of... Not my intention. It was never my intention. I never thought we would get to almost episode 600 at all. I never in a million years imagined that we would get close to episode 600. I didn't even think we'd get to episode 100, but yet here we are. You know, like... I have basically... I'm forgetting the exact word that I wanted to use, but I've basically raised the stakes, or made it, not necessarily inaccessible, but, like, nobody's gonna make a bigger World of Horror series. From a time and effort perspective. Like, somebody could, absolutely. I only do 1 video a day. You did 2, 3 videos a day for World of Horror, you'd eventually catch up, for sure. But, obviously, I don't think anybody's ever gonna do that. But, you know, I've made the longest World of Horror series, probably in the world. And that's basically made it to where anybody else who does less than that is never gonna cover the game as much as me. And obviously that feels a little bit weird, right? Like, that feels really, really weird. But, and it obviously, like, it makes, I guess you could say, I wouldn't say it's making inaccessible content, like, from a content creator standpoint. Like, if you look at a game, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna make videos about this game, oversaturation is the right word. You're never gonna look at something like League of Legends and say, oh, you know, there's too many people doing videos about League. Because everybody's making videos about League, right? And so if you're even thinking about making League videos, you already know what you're in for. But if you look at a smaller, niche, indie horror game, and you're like, I could be a content creator for this could be my main game. And then you see some psycho with 600 plus episodes of World of Horror, and multiple World of Horror live streams, and tier lists, you're gonna be like, oh, they've already got the content figured out, right? But, of course, never on a mainstream scale. Absolutely not. Right, like, I was talking about it earlier. World of Horror is a niche within a niche within a niche. You have to, like pixel. You have to like old school style games that give you a very punishing, and in some aspects, like, let's just be real, unfair, from a perspective of just, like, old school, hardcore, point and click. The skill ceiling, or skill floor, I should say, is knowing what to do, right? That's why I'm good at the game, is because I know what I need to do to win. That's the only reason I'm good at the game. If there were significant portions of skill that were required from, like, a gameplay perspective, I wouldn't nearly be as good. Because I'm not that good of a gamer. But, it's just repetition and just beating the knowledge of it into my head. That's basically it. But so you have to be willing to learn those kinds of games, which is not for everybody. It's not for a lot of people, it's not for most people. Then you have to be willing to be okay with, like, body horror and just horror elements in general. And horror is a big genre, don't get me wrong. But you have to be the kind of person who's, like, down with, like, H.P. Lovecraft or, like, you know, Junji Ito, because the game takes inspiration from both of them heavily. And I know some people watching don't like when I say that, because that's actually, like, one of the statements that I've probably gotten, not necessarily the most pushback on, but, I mean, the games are clearly inspired, but I do agree they should, the game is clearly inspired by those two sources, but it should also stand on its own 2 feet, absolutely, for sure, for real. Pog Peak FF14 gameplay, this is Final Fantasy 14. You know, you get the free trial for Heavensward. This is what you do all the time. It's peak gaming right here. People don't want you to know, but this is more difficult than Ultimates. This is more difficult than an Ultimate. This is much more difficult than Savage. I would rather do Phoenix for 8 hours straight than do this for 8 hours straight. And I've done this for 8 hours straight, so I can say that. The most I've ever done Phoenix for is 3 hours, because that's as long as my static raids, but... You know, this is the Pog. There will never be a more exciting Final Fantasy XIV live stream than this right here. It's almost 5 a.m. We're clicking the damn placard. It's great. I'm even messing up my click rotation. Like, look, I'm messing up my rotation. I'm left-clicking 3 times. I'm losing potency, guys. Also that I could lose the house to somebody named Thunder Soak. Which is very funny, probably a lore-accurate Rogadin name. Rogadin have some crazy names. Like, I remember reading a video about, like, or not a video, but, like, a Reddit thread about, like, what your Warrior of Light is named. And it's like, if you have a lore-accurate name or not. and somebody said, oh yeah, my male Rogadin has a lore-accurate name, but everybody who reads it will think it's a shitpost. Have you tried clicking the button harder? Holy bursh, I never click it in a wow. Hold on. I'll use, I need to click the button within raid buffs. Okay, that's what I need to do. I need to wait until my burst window lines up with the raid buffs, and then I need to pop my grade 6 tincture of clicking. Oh, we're just vibing. We're just hanging out. Technically speaking, I did ask an FC member if they're doing a thing, they can invite me, but I don't think we're doing the thing at all, so I'm just gonna click the placard until I want to go pass out, which will probably be an hour and 30 minutes from now, just as a treat. Been 5 hours only. We still have another few hours. Oh no. I love the say chat here because, like, have you ever played League of Legends, right? And you ever, well, actually, more specifically, have you ever watched Magikarp use Fly? He had the old League of Legends series, right? Now he does Warhammer stuff, and it's really cool. Like, I love his Warhammer content. But one of his videos, he was doing a jungler, right? He was showcasing a jungler. And one of the things that he said is if you gank somebody, and then they type in all chat, you go back to the store and you buy a tent. And then you pitch that tent in their lane, and you camp them. And so, like, it's basically that sort of thing in Final Fantasy XIV placard clicking meta, alright? Is, if somebody talks in say chat, that means they're willing to compromise the integrity of the placard clicking. And so, you know, you just sit back and enjoy the fact that you have a higher percentage chance to get the housing plot that that you're gonna lose anyways because there's 5 other maniacs here. And the thing that's scary is that human clicking is actually faster, apparently. Like, I remember, like, this is all just stuff that I've picked up from the placard say chat, which is just so beautiful. But, you know, we had we were talking, the Shirogane placard that I clicked for like 6 hours. Well, actually, no, was it longer than that? I started at 5 p.m., then went to 11. Joey had to take over while I did the World of Horror live stream. So yeah, about 6 hours. That placard was most likely won by a bot, and people were not happy. And the reason why I say most likely won by a bot is that after they got the house, they kept selecting and unselecting the placard, like it was some sort of automated system or something. We were all just chatting, and there was like a 2 hours till peak time, and bam, somebody came, randomly clicked, and won the plot. That is amazing. I'm just reading the say chat right now. It's so good. But, yeah, no, so, like, bots are ruthless and relentless. Because they're always clicking, but apparently people can click faster. Probably like that. No, not like that. Like this. Yeah. Although, of course, what is it? The Mechanicus headline, the flesh is weak. Because, like, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, my hand is already dying. Like, just clicking this freaking thing. Like, I remember there was a time, like, one of the few times I've typed in say chat while clicking on the placard was just to say, my hand hurts. And there was another person who was just like, same. Same. It's rough out here. But yeah, what were we talking about? World of Horror or something like that? I think the game... I think the game could be like, successful from a mainstream perspective. It's not really, like... I don't think necessarily the developer... Well, I don't know. Like, I've never talked to Panstash at all. And I just kind of take it as it is, you know? Game gets an update, that's cool. Game doesn't get an update, that's cool, right? I do think, though, that in a perfect... Not a perfect world. In a machine world where you can adjust these variables or whatever... If you wanted World of Horror to be a success, what you would have to do is you'd have to update the game frequently, for sure, and you'd have to keep up the social media presence as well, because and then you'd have to reach out to streamers and like horror game YouTubers to kind of keep it going, right? Because what ended up happening was there was a lot of hype for World of Horror when it first came out, and then it didn't really go anywhere because development takes time, right? Like, saying it didn't go anywhere is very rude, because it did go somewhere. The game got updated, obviously. But what ended up happening was the game didn't get updated fast enough for this cycle of content, right? Like, people want new stuff all the time. And if they can't get that, and this is just a general audience thing, right? If you can't constantly give people... How do I put it? If you can't constantly give people new content, then basically people are going to get disinterested, right? Because we have this sort of obsession with, like, season passes and, like... Well, not season passes, sorry. What are they called? Battle passes? The Fortnite thing? Where you play the game to get new content. And then, like, there are seasons of the game where, like, old content will be rotated out, and the old game will be slowly chipped away at until there's something new there, right? That's sort of the current obsession, because people constantly want new stuff to digest. And people optimize things very quickly. So what ends up happening with a game like World of Horror, where development is slow because it's just a single guy working on it as a passion project, and then it's also a highly stylized game that has a very specific artistic aesthetic that you could get wrong very easily, it's not easy to make updates to the game, right? And so you get into a situation where, you know, you're working on the game, you know, this is all an assumption, of course, but you're working on a game like that, and it's like you're not moving fast enough for the mainstream cycle, which is why I don't think the game's gonna be a mainstream success. It's gonna be a success for people like, you know, presumably people like us in the chat, or like you in the chat right now, and me sitting in the chair here clicking the placard, because, you know, we're fans of the game, and we're willing to wait for it at least, or use mods in the interim period. But that's not sort of like the... Like, yeah, we've been won over, sure. And that's an assumption, again, on my part. But, you know, it is what it is. Also, I need to catch up on chat. I've seen some messages go by, but, like, the problem is that, again, it's split in half, so I can't really read it. Oh, God. Oh, hello, Jester. Sorry, I didn't see you earlier. This is where you were? Yes, this is what I was doing when I told you I was clicking the placard. And this looks less fun than my Frames of War. It is less fun than Frames of War. I'm clicking 3 buttons over and over again, and developing carpal tunnel and or repetitive stress injury, so that I can lose a housing plot to one of these maniacs who is also clicking. So the other people around here are also spamming the placard? Yes, every single person here. Let's give them a Friday morning shout out. You know, every single person here, assuming they're not breaking terms of service, is doing the exact same thing that you're seeing me do here, right? And I don't have any reason to believe any of these people are breaking terms of service. They are... I've seen a lot of these people I've seen a lot of these people over the past week, and they seem like genuine actors. I would say use a macro. Macros are a bannable offense in this specific circumstance, because they have to make it as cruel as possible. And I would obviously not be so stupid as to live stream myself doing something that is a bannable offense on an account that I've put like 1,200 hours. As long as you don't... no, they've officially stated that any form of automation in this process is bannable. No snitches over here. You can do it. Listen, I would be completely lying if I said I did not consider it around hour 20. Okay? I wouldn't be human if I didn't consider it, like, after 20 hours of clicking a placard about automating it even slightly, right? I mean, that's why I have a sparkling water can sitting on the target filters button, because I do not want to get repetitive stress injury in 2 hands. But, like, you know, it is what it is. But I was looking into it, and obviously I didn't do it, but you either have to pay people money to get a bot that does this for you, or you have to run somebody's script on your computer for the console, and I was like, no. Like, I think my keyboard and mouse actually have macro functionality. Actually, yes, of course they do. Of course they have macro functionality. I have an MMO mouse, and I have a freaking keyboard with a bunch of buttons that do nothing unless I program macros into them. But, can they detect it? No, they can't. But, like, I'm live streaming right now. So, you know, that would be a pretty quick way to get yourself banned. But, yeah, no, I haven't used them. But, like, I don't, like, listen. The reason why I'm doing it now is just for fun. Like, look, listen. That video is so weird. Like, just the guy going, look here, look, listen. He, like, slams his desk. But, I'm doing this right now because I thought it would be, like, fun content. Because we're just vibing, we're just hanging out. But yeah, no snitches over here, obviously. But yeah, like, statistically speaking, from the intel that I've gathered in front of this housing placard in Say Chat, most likely, in about 9 to 8 hours is going to be prime time, and that's when you're going to want to click. So, in about an hour, I'll go to sleep, and then I'll wake up during prime time, and then I'll be clicking again. But I mean, another thing about it is that, like, I have invested, you'll keep doing it the right way, in, like, the SpongeBob text. But, like, here's the thing, though, right? Like, I've put so much time into this account, right? Like, I've put so much time into this account, I've put so much time into this character, there's no way in hell I would risk it, right? Gonna say I'm trying to get a shiny Registeel right now, big time wasting hours? Oh, we all wasting our time, who's up? What about TF2 being kept alive via the community is also a thing? That is true. Sorry I didn't get to that message earlier. It is true, yes. A community can keep a game alive. But unfortunately, in a game like World of Horror, even though it's designed to be modded, the mods don't really work properly. Like, custom mysteries, enemies break the audio, and custom characters you literally cannot win as. And you can't make custom items yet, and you can't give custom characters items to start with. So you're very, very limited. Also, there's no mystery list for custom mysteries either, so you can't have optional endings. You can only have the one ending. And then for some reason, the example mystery has a way to trigger Knight Errant anyways, and triggering Knight Errant ends up being the quote good ending, which is like the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life, but that's besides the point. I hope you get that shiny Registeel. Sparkling water is good. I like it. Oh, you know, something I was actually going to bring up in the World of Horror episode today, but I completely forgot because I was rushing to get to raid night. I was at the grocery store the other day, and I really like dried fruit, right? Like, I really like dried banana, apple, all that stuff. But it's so expensive, right? Like, it's literally, like, not worth buying. Like, it's just so expensive. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. We've got a break. We can take a break. My FC member has asked, would I like to do the thing? Oh god, get the get the freaking sparkling water can. Get that off there. I almost put like a million minuses in the chat. Yeah, sure. We can do that. I'm so sorry, everybody. We're gonna have to interrupt placard clicking to play the game. I apologize. I've made a horrible error and lapse in judgment. I cannot believe this. I mean, I'll click the placard until I get invited. Oh, I can't invite you because you're set too busy. Busy off. Oh, no, it's just busy. Search info updated. And no, placard clicking was the shit. TV terror confused the hell out of me. Why are you not clicking? I'm so sorry. Oh, don't do that. Don't have that open. That's spoilers. Yeah, go for it. I mean, we'll click until the queue pops, because, like, the queue is gonna be a while. I don't want to see some low elo gameplay. Okay, we'll do like a power clicking round, because, like, you know, estimated wait time 5 minutes. Isn't the game placard clicking in and of itself? No, the game is actually an incredibly in-depth, detailed world of an MMO that allows you to do crazy things like fight gods. If you can believe it. And, you know, we're just gonna do that real quick. I'm being the main tank. I don't care. I'm a Dark Knight. I do not care. I'm being the main tank. No, you piece. Why did the Gunbreaker use Royal Guard?
To the song of
Please. Don't provoke. I beg you. Don't spin the boss like a... Why are you standing in the cleave zone? Please, my friend, I know I'm not supposed to be the main tank, but there's no reason for you to take damage with me. Oh no. The Gunbreaker's stealing aggro. Revengeance?
Furious as a blaze.
Now, I think I'm supposed to get behind him at this point. I'm just gonna pop some mitigation, though, honestly. I think it'll probably be fine, right? Okay, yeah, this is just introducing the knockback mechanic. I solo this on extreme, right? So it can't be that bad on normal. I hope.
Feel my blades.
Please. Look the other way, sir. The party's positionals, I beg you. Oh, I'm not keeping my buff up time. I'm bad. That's okay. So it's gonna be like a vertical line, right? Or is it just gonna be knocked back again? Because he should be breaking the barriers, right? Oh, it doesn't really matter. Okay, you'll get pointed this way then, because you're intent to look over here. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. This is just so, like, garbage. Ah, he keeps pulling aggro. Alright, fine. I'll just turn tank stance off. It's fine. We'll get back to the exciting bit soon, I promise. Oh wait, Moongana is way more important, right? I should probably have it on for this. Uh-oh. But at least I'm second in the aggro list, so if he dies, it's all fine. It's a gain on 3. What's this? Oh, Revengeance, that's right. I really don't like pulling him to the area that's gonna break. Admittedly, I do not remember the normal version of this fight, so it could be completely fine. But I feel like you want to get, like, knocked in.
Rejoice in the glory of combat! Unyielding as the earth!
Because I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting to pop arm's length. Okay, yeah. Please? Don't stand there in the line. Okay, this should be good. I imagine... I don't know why he was targeting me. I'm not, red in the aggro. Ah. I don't even have aggro, and he's just attacking me. That's very weird. There's probably a mechanic here. What's that? 2 stacks of Vuln? Doesn't matter. We should just kill him. Ah, we didn't kill him. Oh, the poor Reaper.
Thou hast bested me.
Hear me out. All those spells are just mini placards. Oh, holy crap. We'll give it to the Reaper. That was kind of a rough fight for them. Watch the house be sold. That would be the funniest thing. Okay, of course it's not sold. Look at that placard right there. Owned by nobody. We're just gonna leave the party here, because we don't need to be in the party anymore. Oh, I'm unable to leave the party because I'm currently occupied. We're not even gonna dwell on the ego tank who insists on being the main tank. That's completely fine. How do you get to the gods? Well, we click the placard, obviously. And then we just wait for somebody to invite us to the trial. Miso soup ready? Are you fighting Ares or something? Nah, he's just a bug boy. Just a bug lad. Aren't all games just clicking placards if you really think about it? I mean, if you really think about it, World of Horror is just a series of placard clicks in succession. My favorite part of placard clicking is when you placard click your way into the lighthouse. And then you take -3 stamina damage because the placard's covered in flesh-eating acid. Or I suppose that's just acid in general, right? Hold on, I do have to type something in the chat, so I have to take the minus button off. No problem. Okay, there we go. We're done typing in chat. Back to peak gaming. Final Fantasy XIV has something in common with other Final Fantasy games. I was talking about it in today's World of Horror episode. There's something in Endwalker, and obviously no spoilers, but there's something in Endwalker that's in a bunch of other Final Fantasy games. And I've only ever played 9 and Crystal Defenders, right? Which I didn't even know Crystal Defenders was a Final Fantasy game until like a year ago. But I played Crystal Defenders and I played 9, and I never beat 9. I got to like level 20 and that's it. But there's this thing in Endwalker, and I was like, yo, this thing is so cool. And then Joey got to the same thing tonight. Well, technically yesterday. But he got to the same thing, and he was like, yo, it's this thing from this Final Fantasy game? And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I ain't ever seen it before, except for here. I don't know if it's a thing that is pre-existing. And so, apparently it's something that's been in, like, several Final Fantasy games and and pretty much a lot of the spin-offs. And so it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And that's sort of like, that's a lot of what Final Fantasy XIV is. Like, it's taking from other games and then sort of turning them into its own thing. Like, when I found out that, like, Final Fantasy 3 and 4 was about the hero meeting up with 2 twins who were blue and red and then going to the moon, I was like, what the hell do you mean? But, like, you know, that's just, And then, of course, there's, like, Sid. There's always a Sid. There's a Biggs. There's a Wedge. And I don't know these things. Like, I don't remember any of these characters. I've only ever... Well, I have played, like, 2 hours of the first Lightning game. But, you know, there's all these references to other Final Fantasy games, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Original content. And also how, like, in Shadowbringers, that mimics a Final Fantasy game where the main character becomes a Dark Knight, and then Endwalker mimics the Final Fantasy game where the character becomes a Paladin. I think his name's Cecil or whatever, I don't even know. It's like Final Fantasy 3 and 4. But, I'm 7 episodes behind, so I didn't see the newest episode yet. Oh, that's totally fair. Like, I mean, I do not do a good job of this at all, but I do personally see each episode as its own thing, right? Like, the reason why they're numbered numerically is so that I can remember, and also, like, we know how many of them there are, right? Because I don't like people who upload, like, videos without numbering them, because then I get confused really easily. Like, imagine watching a YouTube series that's, like, an ongoing thing, and it has, like, a continuing plot, or, like, well, not necessarily, like, a continuing plot or narrative, although some people do this with, like, Let's Plays and stuff of, like, story games, is they'll just have, like, the title, they'll just have the title, and that'll be it, right? And that title will just, sometimes the title doesn't even have the game's name in it, and it's, like, an ongoing, continuing story, and it's like, oh, you know, like, you click on one episode, you're like 3 episodes ahead, and you didn't realize it. And their own playlist isn't organized very well, so you have to go to the fans playlist that has the episode in chronological order. Like, that stuff sucks. And so, you know, I don't necessarily want them to be viewed as something like, oh, in order to watch episode 591, you need to watch the previous 590 episodes, because that's unhinged, right? That's insane. And, I mean, here's the thing. Some people have done it, right? Like, people comment on the older videos, and they'll say, like, I'm gonna work through the backlog, and then I'll see you in the present, and some mad lads actually make it, which is insane. But, like, because you'll see them, like, comment, like, once every, like, 5 or so videos. Organization is really make or break. Like, I don't even think I organize them well. I just think I organize them competently, right? Like, if there's an episode that you really like, and some people have even showed me this, like, some people who I've talked to have lists of, like, their favorite episodes, and it's just the episode number, right? Like, and I think that, like, that's why you put the episode number there. The only thing that I'm slightly tempted to do is when the game comes out of early access, do I go back to episode 1? Because I don't think so. But at the same time, like, from a perspective of cataloging the videos themselves, no, I don't go back to episode 1. From a perspective of cataloging, from a perspective of the game, I should go back to episode 1. Because you don't want somebody to... Because there's two arguments in my mind, right? The argument that a lot of people have made, because I've had a few people say, do not reset the episode number. Do not go back to episode 1. I hated when NL did that for, like, Isaac, right? Is people would say that, essentially, that when you go back to episode 1, that makes it harder to, like, bookkeep episodes, right? Because then you have different series that have different total episodes, and so, like, one series has, like, 600 episodes, one series has 1,000 episodes, etc., etc. And it's all the same game. I bet the stream delay, like, right as you said, going back to episode 1 worked for NL, I bet that lined up exactly with when I said that people have told me they hated when NL went back to episode 1. That is probably what... That's my headcanon for what the Lamau was about. But, like, the argument for not going back to episode 1 is that it makes it bad for established viewers. Because established viewers are gonna, like, watch the most recent episode, and it's not going to be confusing for them, because it's just the daily world of horror again. Because if you've been watching, like, because we've been doing this for almost, like, 2 years, right? Maybe even longer than that, right? We've been doing this for, like, 2.5 years? No, definitely not. Like, 2 years, probably. But, you know, we've been doing it for this 2 years. If you've been consistently, maybe not consistently watching, because, again, that's, like, very few people. But if you've been watching, like, maybe an episode or so every few days, right? And you've been keeping relatively in the present, if you had to go back to episode 1, that would suck. That would be bad. You wouldn't enjoy that, you wouldn't like that. Or at least, I've had, like, 3 people tell me that they wouldn't like it. And how I kind of view it is if there's something that people feel passionate enough to where they would reach out when they're usually content with being a silent observer, then that means that more people probably feel that way. Regardless, though, the advantage to doing it is more of a pro-game point, right? Because if World of Horror comes out, the actual difference between content, assuming that I consistently upload an episode every day, the difference between content is probably not going to be that big. Right? Like, it'll probably be like a new mystery, maybe a couple new characters, a new old god, you know, something like that, right? Something that would be worthy of, like, the 1.0. But it's still going to contain mostly old content that we've been playing for hundreds of hours at that point. And so, if you, say, keep it going, like the episode number, so instead of, like, episode 888, it would be, or instead of episode 1, it would be like episode 888 or something like that, right? If you keep it going, then there's not that big of a content jump for current viewers. If you set it back to 1, though, it gives new viewers an in, right? Because a lot of people, and people talk about this, like successful YouTubers talk about this, and to me it just kind of makes common sense because I feel it too. But I have heard several successful YouTubers talk about it, which makes me feel like I'm reinforced in what I personally feel. But if you look at something, and you see that it has 200 episodes, are you gonna start that? Like, are you gonna start watching that? Like, do you really want to sit, like, do you really want to have in the back of your head, like, oh, you know, if I start at episode 200... then I'm missing 199 episodes worth of content. And you know, some people, they're like, oh hell yeah, I'll binge 200 episodes. That sounds like amazing. But a lot of people are gonna look at episode 591 and say, nope, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. And so they're going to look at that and they're going to say no. And however, if you don't know anything about World of Horror, or you don't play it very often, so that, like, current content would be new for you, and then a new update would be, like, crazy new for you, right? Like, let's say, let's take Joey, for instance, right? Joey hasn't played a lot of the new update. So things like Brick Meta, Ayaka, Toshiaki, a lot of this stuff is completely new to him, right? He hasn't seen it. So if you were to... So if the game came out with a huge new update tomorrow, Joey would have so much stuff to catch up on. Like, you would have stuff to catch up on with the current patch, and then you have new content to enjoy, right? So for people who follow the game more casually, if you were to start over and name it Episode 1, then they would see a lot of... They would basically only see new stuff, right? Like, they would see some old stuff that they remember, but they wouldn't see... They wouldn't see, like... How do I put it? I think I've almost got it. Like, I'm trying to rationalize it into, like, coherent words. But I feel like if you're a more casual observer, and there's nothing wrong with that, I want to point that out. Like, some people don't like the word casual. I don't care. I think casual is a perfect word for what it is, and there are, like, plenty of games that I'm casual in, right? I don't go hard in every single game. I try to play some games I play most games casually. And so I don't think it's a big deal if, like, I say, like, oh, if you're a casual World of Horror player, because that's, like, most people who play World of Horror, and that's probably the best way to play it, right? And the most important part is that you're enjoying it, obviously, but, you know, I think that I need a second here. I'm sorry, I gotta lose my clicks per second here. It's plummeting. The worst click per second parse of all time. But, you know, people who are actively engaged in it, they would get probably bothered by the episode number going back to 1. Because there is, like, that feeling of investment, like it's starting over from 0, and that might even affect me. I have no idea. I haven't done it. Game's not out yet. I don't have to make that decision. But there is, like, it is a decision to make. Because if you just title it, like, World of Horror Early Access, or World of Horror Episode 888, and then all the previous episodes say Early Access, you know, still, that's gonna... A lot of people are gonna look at that and go, no, absolutely not. No, I'm not watching that. And so you could either do the thing that most successful YouTubers do, which is don't include episode numbers, which for me is unacceptable, because I want to be able to actually find the content that I want to watch and not have to remember, like, meme clickbait titles. I want to have, like, a numerical list of, like I want to have, like, a numerical list of videos that I can watch. That's just me, though. And that's a conscious decision that I'm making that makes it to where people, there's a significant portion of people who won't click. But that's fine. Hold on, I do need to catch up on chat. The eternal cater to longtime viewers or make it more accessible debate, yeah. I don't, like, to an extent, yes, but also no, right? Like, it makes it's not accessibility, right? Because the accessibility is, do you click on the video or not, yes or no. I would rephrase it in a way of, like, not necessarily algorithm boosting, but do you want to appeal to more people? Right, like, you're not accessible to more people. Do you want it to appeal to a wider audience? And another way that you could look at it is also, do you want to be, like, generous to the developer, right? Because if you do, like, episode 1 of World of Horror, like, release, and then you put in all caps, World of Horror launch, then, you know, you're gonna get a lot more people clicking than, you know, World of Horror episode 888. Something or other, like, you know, Miku Gaming, you know, episode 888 Miku Gaming. If I remember that, that's gonna be the title. I don't even care. Like, I don't even care if we're not playing Miku. Episode 888, title Miku Gaming. Which is probably a title I've used before. Personally, I wouldn't mind if you reset the episode counter, but do whatever makes sense to you. I appreciate the open-mindedness of the whole thing, because I have actually had people, like, not necessarily passionately tell me, but, like, tell me that they do not want me to reset the episode number. Like, I've had a few people tell me that. Is Final Fantasy XIV worth to get into? None of my friends play it, but I want to get into a new MMORPG. My favorite MMORPG died a few years ago. I mean, you know, people are still playing World of Warcraft as Horde. I'm sorry, that's rude. So here's the thing. Obviously, let me do a quick / playtime. Oh, / playtime. I spelled it wrong the first time. Oh, there we go. I've played for, and this is gameplay, right? Like, this is gameplay. This is not, like, hours logged on Steam or something like that, right? This is, like, actual, like, time spent playing the game. I've played for 50 days, 14 hours, and 6 minutes as of this most recent playtime. I've played this game for a long time. I don't know if that is 1,000 hours. I would hope it is. I feel like I've put 1,000 hours into this game, but I'm not gonna do the math off the top of my head. It's almost, it's almost, well, I said it's almost 5 a while ago, but it's actually, like, you know, we're getting there. But, hold on, I want to switch my chat back to FC chat. I don't want to say chat. I mean, you can't see say chat because I'm blocking it with Neo88 Emmerdale, but is that Neo88? Is that what the color palette's called? I know it's called, I know one of the color palettes is called Neo, but I don't know if it's the pink one. But, so here's the thing. I love Final Fantasy XIV. You're not gonna get an unbiased, you're not gonna get an unbiased recommendation from me. I think that, and I mean, here's the thing, too, is that, like, watching gameplay of it is kind of boring, right? Because, like, a lot of the fun, to me, is doing my rotation properly in difficult content to where I am supporting my team adequately to the point where they're not gonna die, because I'm the healer, right? Like, I'm a healer main. And so if I'm doing things wrong, then my team's gonna die. But I also need to be doing as much DPS as possible, or, you know, we're not gonna make the enrage. Because, you know, healer does about, like, 2 million plus DPS, which is not a lot in the grand scheme. Well, it is a lot in the grand scheme of things. Like, DPS do around, like, 4 to 6 million. Tanks do about, like, 3 million. 2 to 3 million, and healers do about 2 million, right? So, you need to, like, contribute to your team, and you need to be able to balance your party's health bars with dealing damage. But that's one of the things that I have fun with the game. There's a lot of activities that you can do as well that I find enjoyable, that are relaxing, like bunny fates, like just waiting for the bunny fate to spawn, following the white rabbit, getting some treasure that can sometimes be really valuable that you can sell for a lot of gil. And that's just relaxing. Like, I do bunny fates when I don't want to play a video game, but I want to play a video game, if that makes sense. You know, there's, like, crafting and gathering that takes a long time, but it's really chill. There's a lot of things that, I mean, you know, you're saying that you want to get back into an MMORPG. You probably know that MMOs, they have activities that are boring, but very relaxing. You know, and you know that MMOs probably also have those really high action moments that are, like, making you pog out of your gourd. Final Fantasy's got plenty of both. One of the things that I do like about it a lot, and one of the reasons why I'm not playing something like World of Warcraft, is that the only thing in Final Fantasy XIV that's mandatory is the MSQ, the main story, or the main scenario, sorry. It's not the main story quest, it's the main scenario quest. The MSQ is mandatory in order to unlock everything, right? Like, the MSQ gives you access to everything in the game just by doing it. Well, the MSQ allows you to unlock everything in the game by doing it. So you can't progress, and you can't do multiplayer stuff without doing the MSQ. And besides that, the only other thing that's mandatory is in the early game your job quest, because you unlock abilities through your job quest. But, like, where I am right now as White Mage, I'm not unlocking new abilities through my job quest. The job quest is just flavor for fun, if you like the story and you like the characters and you want to see it continued on. So they even dropped job quests as mandatory. And they even used to have role quests, which were mandatory as well, back in Shadowbringers. And the Shadowbringers role quests are still mandatory to complete the story, which obviously you have to complete the story to move on to Endwalker. But, you know, in Endwalker, the role quest is optional, right? You do the role quest if you want to dye the armor. And that's it. So, that's probably the thing that I like most about Final Fantasy XIV, is everything is optional. Like, you can spend the time, unless you're an idiot free company leader who didn't realize that leaving a free company that already owns a house and starting my own would have consequences. You know, I mean, I'm happy to do it. I've met a lot of cool people through this. So, oh, we got the view, the great view from here. But, you know, as long as you're not an idiot FC leader who's clicking a placard for 8 hours a night, you know, when a house goes on sale, there's really nothing that's mandatory. And even this isn't mandatory, right? Like, what does gardening do? It gives you, like, botany items or, like, plants or stuff for housing. And, like, food that you can grow for your chocobo or whatever. What does chocobo stables do? Allow you to dye your chocobo different colors. What does the airship let you do? Get FC rewards. What does the submarine let you do? Get FC rewards, right? Everything is optional. And so, the great thing is, the barrier to entry to doing what you want to do is the main story, and that's it. Right? Like, if you wanted to do high-end raiding, all you would have to do is, and you don't care about the story at all, you could just skip the story. You could probably get through it in, like, a week or two if you're skipping the story. Like, a lot of the game is the story, right? And so that is a big caveat that I have to say, is if you get into the game and you're digging the story and you're liking the characters, it's going to be your favorite game of all time, right? But for the entirety of the MSQ, it is mostly a single-player JRPG, all right? That's the bottom line. And every, like, 2-3 hours, sometimes they condense it, like, they'll have, like, multiplayer content bursts, but a lot of the time, it's a single-player JRPG, and then you'll get to a multiplayer instance, and then that'll be, like, you know, 10 to 15 minutes if it's a trial, maybe 15 to 20 minutes if it's a dungeon, and if it's a raid, then about 10 to 15 minutes like a trial, and then Alliance raids can go on for like 30 to 40 minutes, right? But you do have to do a lot of, like, I wouldn't say that the beginning of Final Fantasy XIV is a good MMO. Like, I describe it as a single-player JRPG with queue times. That's how I genuinely see it. Because you have to log on to the game, which usually has, at least on my low-population server, like a 14-person queue. You basically get into a situation where, like, I have a lot of people, I'll give you an example. I have a lot of people in my FC who are playing through the game for the first time. They're sprouts, they're new to the game. How do I interact with them as, like, an FC leader? I answer any questions they have about the game, and I tell them that if they unlock multiplayer stuff, then they can ask for the guild to join them. And that's about it, right? Like, until they get to the end of an expansion, there's not really a whole lot that we can do. Like, even the Trials of Bahamut, right? Like the Binding Coils, you can't search that in Duty Finder, so you have to do it unsynced, which is kind of annoying. And so, like, pretty much, the multiplayer content starts at the end game of Heavensward. And then, after that point, a new challenger is approached. Oh, I remember her. I saw her the other day. You know, once you get to the end of Heavensward, You got the Epic of Alexander. That's cracked, right? That's a multiplayer. It's a 12-part multiplayer raid. Oh man, I remember running through that with my friend Hamami for the first time. The tank, the off tank, didn't know how to do the mechanic properly, which requires you taking aggro, and so we were wiping. And so I, as the healer who figured out the mechanic, with Hamami's help, of course, I started basically doing the off-tank's mechanic for them, and I was being attacked by the mobs. I had to heal myself. Oh, man. The Epic of Alexander is fantastic. Absolutely banger raid series, for sure. And then, like, what else do you have in Heaven's Word? You have the Void Arc. And you have, I suppose Heaven's Word added a lot of, like, crafting and gathering stuff with the Firmament and custom deliveries. But when you get to Stormblood, you've got the other 12-part raid series, Omega, and then you've got Return to Rabanast, or whatever it's called. I don't even remember. That Alliance raid, oh god. We were in there for 2 hours for the third one of those. The other alliances just couldn't kill their ads, and we were like, we couldn't help them. So that was really fun. But the Omega Raid series is just brilliant. Like, it is, honestly. Like, the Omega Raid series is incredible. And also, one of the things that you get from Omega is you get or not Omega, sorry, from Stormblood, is you get Eureka. Eureka's kind of like the hardcore multiplayer content, where if you die, you lose your elemental EXP, which is completely independent of any, like, nonsense in, any nonsense in the main game. And Eureka is just such a rabbit hole. Like, it's an entirely different game, basically. There's so much to do in Eureka, and the Baldesion Arsenal is, like, one of the best raids in the game. I still want to meet the math bot? Yeah, that's in Stormblood. We can get well, trying to get a group for the Return... Oh, no, it's Return to Ivalice. That's what it's called. Trying to get a group, Golden Wolf, trying to get a group for Return to Ivalice is like extracting blood from a stone. But, you know, we could probably get a few people together and run it in Party Finder. But, like, oh god. These fools don't know 1 is not a prime number. I still can't... Listen, I'm bad at math, and yet I'm one of the few people who get that mechanic right. Oh god. But yeah, no, Eureka's super fun. I do like a good Eureka. And then let's see. So you got the Alliance raid, you've got the raid series, you've got Eureka and Stormblood. Oh yeah, no, I completely forgot that there's also the Trial series as well. So you've got the Warring Triad and Heaven's Word. You've got what is it, like the 4 Lords in Stormblood? I don't remember. I don't remember what the Stormblood one is called. I go by Fortnite, Dance Dance Revolution, and Mario Kart, honestly. And then you've got, for Shadowbringers, is it the weapon? It's the weapons, I think. And you've got Eden. Eden's even better than Omega. Like, I was, like, obviously Pandemonium isn't over yet, because we just have the first 4. But I think Eden is still my favorite. Like, Eden is incredible. The Shadowbringers raid series. And I haven't done the Nier raids yet, so I can't tell you about the Nier Automata raids in Shadowbringers, the Alliance raid. I've seen the gifs of Dragoons jumping into trains, but I have no context. You sold me. I'm gonna try Final Fantasy XIV next week. I gotta grind my king to Tekken God Prime first. Jesse, what? I know the words, but I don't understand what that means. But, yeah, Fizdor, if you're in the Discord, let me know when you get Final Fantasy XIV. If you want to be on my world, that is. If you don't care, then... Or if you have... Well, I know you said you don't have any friends that play. But if you have any friends who want to try it... Because it is free. The free trial is a thing that you can get. It is a thing that exists. I gotta grind past Realm Reborn again. Yeah. I remember you telling me about that. That was pretty... I would not do that. And then get to the Alexander area. Yeah, the Alexander area is fun. But yeah, there's a lot to do in Final Fantasy XIV. And what I like about it, just to kind of summarize the not necessarily plots, well, not to summarize the bit here, because we've been talking about it for a while, and I think I missed something that Jester was talking about. But to kind of put a bow on it, it's a good game, but either you have to, like, there's kind of three kinds of people who play, right? There's there's people, I was gonna say lunatics. There's people like me who really, really like the story, and then we're getting a fantastic multiplayer game once we're done with the story. And then, I just realized I'm not set to busy, am I? I am not. There we go. But like, how do I put it? Like, yeah, there's people like me who love the story, right? Like, I love the story. I was hooked pretty much since Heaven's Word. Well, okay, at the end of A Realm Reborn's patches, I became hooked. And then I've been faithfully following the story, and every time I beat the MSQ, I get like, really fun new multiplayer content to do. Right? That's the kind of player that I am, and that's kind of how I view it. There's the people who don't care about the story at all, and they just skip everything. They don't even know what's happening, and they're just there for the gameplay. And a lot of the story... How do I put it? A lot of the story is cutscenes and dialogue, which you can skip. So then there's people who, they just care about the gameplay. That's what they're there for. They want to get to the gameplay as fast as possible. Which I would not want to play that way, because I am much more a play at your own pace sort of person. But, you know, I know a few people who are like... I met one guy who, he skipped through the story of the game and so that he could get to current content with his friends, and then he replayed it in New Game Plus. And it's like, that is I would rather just play through the story blind, honestly. And then there's the person, and I don't want to use Joey as an example here, because that's rude, and I don't know how Joey really feels about it. But, you know, Joey is kind of like... Joey is not super invested in the story, and, you know, cracks a lot of jokes about it, wonders where the sad part is while Hamami and I are crying. You know, we're just bawling our eyes out, and he's like, where's the sad part? You know, but he's still invested in the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, he cares about the characters, he cares about what's happening, and he cares about a coherent story being told, but he's not, like, super invested in it, so he's, like, sort of the middleman between the two. Like, he'll skip dialogue, but if it's voiced, he'll listen to it, right? So, you like everything? You love to see it. Average enjoying the game enjoyer. But, yeah, you know, it's what it's, as we were talking about earlier. And I think Joey's definitely, like, enjoying the game a lot more now. But especially in, like, early probably, like, through A Realm Reborn to Heavensward, Joey was just kind of, like, you know, playing the game. Which is totally fine. Like, I know some people who are, like... I know some people who are definitely like, if you're not listening to every cutscene and reading every piece of dialogue, you're playing the game wrong. But it's important to play the game at your own pace, and it's important to play the game how you want to. And of course, there's a lot of people from World of Warcraft who bought, like, the skip to get to the end of the Shadowbringers, so that they could run through Endwalker and do the current raid tier with their friends. Which is, again, a totally valid way to play the game. Like, this game is a very much, you get out of it what you put into it. And if you want popping in to say good luck, Web, thank you, Nebula, thank you. Statistically speaking, this house is not going to drop for another, like, 7 hours. So this is mostly just, like, talking, well, annoying sound effects playing in the background. And the damnable looping housing music that's the same in every zone that I've heard for God knows how long has been being drilled into my skull. But, yeah. The chances that we get this house is basically, like, zero. It's like being struck by lightning twice in the same spot, years apart. Stranger things have happened, though. But, I mean, look at all these other psychos. You know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got... I can count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got 6 other... Wait a minute. Is that another person, or is that a minion? I don't know. We've got, like, 7 other people here clicking the placard. So not only is the chances of this house being purchasable basically non-existent until, like, 6 hours from now, but also... there are 7 other people who are doing the exact same thing as me. So that's pretty funny. It really is a definition of insanity thing. And this isn't my first rodeo. Like, you gotta go in to the placard clicking with a good mindset, right? You have to be willing... Like, listen, the amount of dedication you have to put into this damn thing... and the amount of dedication that I have put into this damn thing, is you gotta be willing to sit here for 10 hours and then lose it to a bot. That's what you gotta be willing to do. That's what it takes. And how I know this is that I recognize 3 of the people here. I recognize 3 of the people here from the last time that I was clicking a placard. And that's pretty messed up. I'd probably recognize more of them if the last placard wasn't in Shirogane. Because Shirogane, there were like 50 people clicking the damn thing. This is a good plot of purchasable land. Listen, I don't know how to tell you this, but this plot of land is not yet ready for purchase. Oh, man. How long are we gonna go? We'll go for, like, 20 more minutes, honestly. Like, I think I've basically, like, talked about... I'm gonna head out. Have fun with the clicking the placard. I mean, you know the answer is that I'm not having fun, but... We gotta do what we gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do to get that bread, gamer. And the thing is, like, you click this for so long that you think that you're doing something wrong. But no, literally, at literally any second, in the next, assuming that it's been, somebody said it's been up for 3 hours, that was 2 hours ago. Somewhere in the next 19 hours, in a random period of time, when somebody clicks the purchase land button and then hits yes, that'll be who wins it. So, assuming the person was telling the truth when they said 3 hours, literally, in a random point in time, 19 hours from now, or within a 19-hour period, this house is going to be available for purchase. And so every click that we've done was a potential purchase. But statistically speaking, no, because it's a 24-hour period of time and, you know, statistics. Kiwi could probably, like, we need to get Kiwi in chat. And by in chat, I mean, like, God, Kiwi is probably, like, doing something way more important right now. But, like, we need to get Kiwi, and he needs to do the math on how unlikely it is that we actually get this placard. And by that, I mean the house. And listen, I'm gonna log out here. And when I wake up, if this house is still for sale, you know what I'm gonna be doing? I'm gonna be doing this until the house is, until I have real-life responsibilities, or the house sells. Because it's what it's. But yeah, I think I've talked about, like, I honestly didn't think we'd be talking about that much stuff. Like, I literally was just like, oh god, I'm gonna be clicking the placard for a few hours. Oh, she's dead! That cat girl just keeled over and died. But, you know, it's like, I was thinking to myself, like, oh my god, we're gonna be here. I'm gonna be here, clicking this placard for God knows how long. Might as well make something fun out of it, right? Wait, did she actually die? Oh my god, she used Blue Mage self-destruct! Oh my god! The cat girl maid actually fucking died, dude! She's dead. Well, she's alive now, because she was resurrected, but... Holy shit! I was not expecting someone to fucking die in front of the placard. What the fuck? I can't handle this plot twist. Hold on. Thanks? You're an OG. I was not expecting, like, my heart can't handle this, dude. That's, no, like, you cannot just sacrifice yourself in front of the placard. The new exploding electrode version is much cuter. Jessie, what? Oh, now she's in a wedding dress. Okay. Listen, I've seen some crazy crap in front of a placard, alright? But I have not seen a cat girl maid ritualistically sacrificing herself to lower doom by -2%. Like, that's just, that's a little much. Whoever leaves this plot can marry me. Oh no. I mean, I'm gonna leave the plot in a moment, but you stay away from me. Don't make me, get the spray bottle. Or maybe there's, like, is there, like, a reverse to catnip? Is it, like, citrus? Do cats not like oranges? Or did I hallucinate that? I don't know. Do we have any cat experts in chat? I'm just gonna remake the title, "This plot of land is not yet ready for purchase." Oh. Oh, now she's golden. But yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm losing steam. Also, that minion, it keeps spinning. Spin to win. Are we gonna do... Now, here's the real, like, nuclear question, alright? Here's the new WMD. Here's the new meta, okay? Placard streams. We're just gonna be doing, placard streams. Streaming until my free company gets a house. Copium. Stream length 24 hours. And that's just because the stream literally can't be any longer than that. You're going online right now? I mean, I got like a foot in the freaking door to death, alright? Like, if you're logging on to do something, like potentially multiplayer with me, I would advise against that, because it's getting up there in how late it is. And I'm almost, like, freaking giving up on this house, alright? So... And by that, I mean I'm gonna go to bed, wake up in prime time, and then start clicking it again. Am I gonna do another placard stream in the morning? Probably not, because I don't like streaming or recording during the day. Typically do it at night. But listen. When... Like, I'll give it 10 more minutes. I'll give it 10 more minutes. And then, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to bed. It's gonna be great. And so we're speeding up the clicking. We're getting cracked. This is the rotation. This is the gold, the Gul'dan, the 99. No, it's not. This is gray. This is gray 100%. That was private individual. We don't click those. We don't click private individual. It's not possible. It's literally... my name is being invoked? Why is my name being invoked in the Say chat? Who dares? Hold on. Yeah, sure, I'll type in chat. This isn't prime time. You've baited me. Oh, I have to hold the, you know, the... Don't... You've baited me. You've said my name in Say chat. This isn't prime time. I'll say a question mark that took like 5 seconds to type because I had to take a sparkling water can off of my keyboard because it was pressing the minus key. And then I'll spam the placard while you're busy replying. This is the ultimate PvP. Oh, they thought I was a bot because I wasn't talking in Say chat. Oh god, they just called me cute. How dare you. Oh no, they called me super quiet. I read quiet as cute. You know what? It's not prime time. I'll take the bait. Y'all play some music for your clicking? Oh god. What is the location of the goblet? You have to unlock it in Ul'dah. It's one of the housing quests. And I unlocked it like, you know, 500 hours ago, so you're probably gonna have to look that up. But it's like where the home is, or where the heart is, or something like that. And then it's like the goblet. But listen, you're not gonna find anything here for you. Unless you want this house, in which case, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. Prime time's in about 5 hours. And prime time lasts for 4. Personally, we've got about 8 minutes left. 8 minutes until the final countdown. And by that I mean until I log off, because... Probably like 8 minutes until I log off, because, like, listen, the house isn't dropping. I'm just saying, if you know how it works, then, you know where the blue... You know how to accept a blue quest. I mean, I'm at the plot. I mean, you can see it on the screen occasionally. It's like plot 2. So, when you go to the residential district, you can click on the wards, and then anything that's in white is a house that you can buy. And there's only one house in white right now in Ul'dah, to my knowledge. And it's in, like, plot 2. So you can just click on it, and it'll be the first tab. But yeah, if you're trying to get this house, good luck. I would not, like... Again, I'm only doing this because I thought it would be fun as a live stream. And it was fun. It actually was fun. But yeah, just go to the only house that's being sold. All you had to say was Ul'dah and the word holy crap. I mean, you know it's Ul'dah, it's the goblet. Oh, you're not going for the house, you're just gonna be a meme? 07, 07. But yeah, no, just look at the residential districts. It's the house is 3,187,500 gil. That's what it is. It says the ward on the screen, but I'm clicking too quick. I'm clicking too fast, too quick. The greatest purchased land of all time. Oh yeah, I probably should put the... If I got a house from a random click, I would literally sell it to prove a point. That's, you haven't been, hardened by the fires of, the housing war. If you're speaking like that. People do real PvP for this. People try to accuse others of being bots so that they can get them reported. People try to make your game crash. People will spam trade request you. This is the PvP zone, right? This is the Wolf's Den. Although there's no wolf marks here, unfortunately. There's no PvP currency to be earned. No Oni Club. No Oni Club. Alas. Well, I mean, we're sitting here. Just vibing. It is kind of nice to have a bard, though. That's cool. And they're not just playing, like, the loudest note as quickly as they possibly can. They're actually playing a song. It's not Life is Strange or River in a Desert, but it is what it is. We did have a bard for the Shirogane, I should say. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, you say. Hold on. Oh, the minus key, that's true, the sparkling water can. We might actually have something to end the stream on. A little sawmal as a treat. A little sawmal as a treat. Can I tank sawmal as a Dark Knight? I don't know. I don't remember the level. Probably just switch to something else. But until then, we're gonna click the placard like we always do. Got a random pop-up on the ye old desktop. That's a big window. So I'm trying to remember what level this dungeon is. If I can tank it as Dark Knight, I will. Because I'm trying to level Dark Knight, but, Is it 56? No, okay. No, it's 55, actually. Or 54, something like that. That works. But anyways. So I started clicking the placard, obviously. I gotta get the house. I gotta... Here's what's gonna happen. Right before Sawmal pops, we'll get the house. Copium. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled placard clicking with actual gameplay. I can't believe it myself, honestly. Although finding a healer is gonna take a hot minute. Although tanks do have better queues because of the Sage army. Never mind. It was a... Well, yeah, it was a hot minute. Hot's fast. But what if, just as a treat... Oh, the one DPS who's been waiting for, like, 45 minutes for Sawmal. The one DPS. They're gonna dodge the queue. Oh my god, they actually almost dodged the queue. That's really funny. Oh, there goes the sparkling water can. Astrologian, I'm sorry in advance. Okay, so... This dungeon. What is this dungeon again? It's something. Oh. It's the plant one. Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I should probably just be doing this, that's true. But I wanted that Drakespur dead. See, isn't this nice? And by that I mean it's obviously horrible. This is not, the land is not available for purchase. Okay, so we're just gonna go Drakespur by Drakespur, honestly. Whoa. Because I don't want to do 2 Drakespurs B2B. That's a little sus. As a Dark Knight specifically, that's a little sus. Did that get both of them? I don't think it did. It's true. A damage down that you can Esuna. Huh. I keep forgetting that, like, in Heavensward, you can Esuna damage downs and Valms. That's so weird. Alright, come on, a little bit more to the middle. Thank you, good sir. This is magic? I don't know if acid counts as magic. I'm not entirely sure. Now we should because we have the DPS for it. We should just focus the boss. But if they want to kill the ads, that's fine. Might as well do that to keep the combo going. Now, I'm still new enough to tanking that I don't know what the modus operandi here is. If the boss turns themselves to a specific area, do I want to get them back to the normal zone, or do I want to adjust to where they are? I believe you want to drag the boss to where they normally are. But I don't know. Gonna have to consult with the lads about that one. Because, like, I'm honestly really impressed. Like, whenever I raid Savage and I see how... Because, like, obviously, in the normal game, what you do as a, like, an individual role has less impact. As long as you're doing damage, you're kind of doing it right. And as long as the tank isn't letting the party die, obviously. But in Savage, everybody has to fulfill their role properly, or people will die. And so it's really impressive to see, like, my main tank, the Paladin, and my off tank, the Gunbreaker, like, working really well with each other to ensure that the party doesn't die. It's actually really cool. Even though, like, you never see it pretty much outside of Savage. It's really cool to see the... Let's just drag them out of the fire. Because I don't want the ninjas dying over here in the fire. Peace.mp4. I actually really need to redo my Dark Knight buttons. The ninja should be able to attack them safely? Yes. And so I should probably ask them about it. I mean, I guess I could ask Kamami about it as well, because they main tank in Savage? Yeah, that's right. They are the warrior. Okay, that's a little bit weird. So go there. I'm pretty sure the reprisal missed most of the enemies, so that's why I went with arm's length. I really do need to be upkeeping this. Like, I'm very bad at that. I'm basically bad at anything that's like a thought. Which I am getting better at Dia uptime, though. But I mean, this, especially in PvP, is like a nightmare to keep the damage buff up. Because, I mean, sometimes people just get on their mounts and run away. And so it's like, wait, come back. I have to get my proc. That was the wrong button. Should I have done the AoE one? 300, 130. Okay, no, the single target's actually better. I do kind of miss the Gunbreaker getting a free barrier. And by that I mean, I'm used to getting a free barrier every second auto attack. Or not auto attack, sorry, second combo. That's a reprisal. I think I did that way too late, though. can't remember if that's a stack marker or not, but it does not do enough damage. I think that's a stack marker. But Heaven's Word is weird. Now, I don't have anything for that, so they're just gonna... Now that is important to kill. Do not want to let the Chime of the Mountain go through. Pretty much ever. I don't think he's going to come back to the middle, so I should just follow him and hit him. And I have Reprisal if he tries to do the roar again, but no, we're just going to kill him. It's not a big deal. That actually does kind of look cool, but we'll pass for now. It's not dieable. If it's not dieable, I don't really want it. But you know what I do want that's not dieable? That placard. Okay, yeah, somebody just took a second to load in. I was like, wait a minute, there's only 2 people behind me. That's bad. You're out. Hope I get the house. I really do appreciate that. Although we are calling it after this dungeon. Mainly just because, like... Did they stand in an AoE circle? Yeah, they did. I'm like 90% sure they did. Because I don't think there's any other enemies. But yeah, thank you for the well wishes. But no, statistically speaking, we're not gonna get the house. Like I'll click maybe for like 5 more minutes after I end the stream or whatever. But like just as a treat, to make sure that it doesn't like end the moment I would have left. Because you know that's always the soul crushing thing. But you know, most likely I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. House is gonna be gone, which is totally fine. I've had more devastating houses taken out from under me. There was a house, the first house that I tried clicking on was really good because it was literally, literally right next to the market board. So you like stepped out your front door, and you had access to the market board, which is incredibly cracked. And then I clicked that for like 8 hours. Unfortunately, it got taken by somebody else. And then there was, I think it was an old house. I genuinely don't remember. Ooh, you don't remember threat level. So we'll just do this. And then we'll finish him off here. But, yeah, so I've had, like, 3 or 4 houses go out from under me, and some of them I've clicked for, like, multiple hours at a time. And, I mean, you just kind of have to have an attitude of, like, you're statistically never gonna get the house, so copium, right? So, it is what it is. Oh, nobody went for the coffers, huh? Uh-oh, I did not pass on the loot. Well, I guess I'll take it as, Are they in the cutscene? I don't think they are. No, they're not. So yeah, we're calling it after this dungeon. And then we are... Well, I'll wake up. And then try to get the house again tomorrow, but I have no idea. Probably won't. And it's also weird, oh yeah, the comment thing, I remember this. Hopefully they do it correctly. Okay, yeah, they got it. And I can just stand here, it's not a big deal. Just make him use Benefic too? Oh no, I'm so sorry. I did something wrong if the Astrologian has to use Benefic too. Okay, Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know if this is the DPS check. But yeah, that is a little scary, not gonna lie. Is he not in the Dokkan? Hold on. I want to make sure that he's in the field, because I recently found out, and by recently I mean like 100 hours ago, that that's like the ninja's damage AoE thing. I'm sorry, I've got to spin the dragon like a Beyblade. That was not the button that I wanted to press, but I did press it. And I don't have like Heart of Light or anything. Hate to see it. There we go. That worked out really well. Okay, so we're gonna close out the stream now. Thank you, everybody. Ox tongue, I don't think I've ever seen that. But thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been an absolutely unhinged stream, just so that when I moan and complain about stuff in... hold on, we'll just do this. Here, we'll just return the Emmerdale to its original size. That's actually incredibly cursed. Hold on, we'll do that. There we go. Perfect. We will... So basically, this is just context to whenever I complain about... Oh my god, there's more people here. I'll click it a few times for fun, okay? While I do the outro. But, basically... Whenever I complain in a World of Horror episode about clicking the placard, you now have a video frame of reference for exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name's been Webweaver. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. I'll see you on whatever you decide to watch next. Goodbye. Jesser, I'm asleep. Good night. And just so you know, this plot of land is not